Hello. So last week I was lucky enough to be a guest on a horror podcast called The Horror Hangout. And this is a podcast where they discuss a different movie each week. This time we wanted to discuss The Taking of Deborah Logan because I featured it in my 10 found footage movies that you might have missed video. So we discussed that and also had a little chat about loads of other things to do with horror, and one of the conversations has inspired this video. But anyway, I have a clip of the Horror Hangout of the episode that I was on, so take a look.
The Taking of Deborah Logan is a 2014 American found footage supernatural horror film. It is the feature film directorial debut of Adam Robitel.
I mean, I've got a soft spot for found footage movies, and this one is one of the best, one of the better ones.
So many real life horrors and the horror of degenerative disease, as well as creepy, ghostly demon things. French demons. This performance felt really genuine, so it really resonated with me, and I was really impressed, and I think that's why I was so invested in this film.
The main characters as well, obviously Deborah Logan and her daughter, the performances between both of them just really made it shine. It felt very natural. A really great sort of queer representation in Anne Ramsey. And when she's talking about how she kind of kissed a girl for the first time when she was really young, and her mum reacted really badly, and she got sent away to boarding school and things like that, and you could tell that that's where some of the tension has come from. That one scene at the end that no one can forget.
Like when Anaconda eats John Voight in Anaconda.
I want to be a mini milk. I bet it does feel quite nice to have your head sucked like that. You get to hairdressers. I mean, no, us three haven't been for a while, I imagine.
Which hairdressers have you been to?
I'm gonna give you the Deborah Logan.
Fight him, Mom! Fight him!
So there we go. I had a blast doing that podcast. It was such good fun, and you can watch the whole thing right here on YouTube. I'll leave the link below, but also you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, so make sure you subscribe, follow them, and go and listen to all the other episodes as well, because they discuss some of the best horror movies ever made and also some of the worst. So as I mentioned, the conversation that we had in that podcast kind of inspired this video. We were talking about horror TV series, and in particular one that I am watching right now that one of the guys hadn't seen before. So we're going to do 10 horror TV shows that you might have missed. So let's get into it. So first up we have American Gothic. Now this is a TV series that's about a sort of demonic sheriff who sort of rules over a small town, and he has a son who is basically trying to figure out why and how and try to stop him. And lots of different things happen in the process, and we discover lots of different secrets about the town and about the characters as well. It was a 90s TV series, and sadly it only had one season. It was around the time of The X-Files, and obviously didn't reach the same heights as The X-Files, but it's still an excellent show. It's got a great cast, including a very young Sarah Paulson, as we know from American Horror Story. So if you can find it, I believe it's on DVD in most countries now, so definitely check out American Gothic. It was great. So next up we have a series called The Strain, and The Strain is set in New York. It's about a sort of disease like a pandemic, which I guess is fairly topical in 2021, but this pandemic is starting to bring about sort of ancient evil vampires. And this one has incredible special effects, especially the sort of prosthetic, physical effects. And it lasts for 4 seasons, so you've got quite a lot of episodes to watch. And one of the creators in this was Guillermo del Toro as well. So it's a very, very good series. I think in the UK you can watch it on Disney Plus, but it's available everywhere, and I definitely recommend it. It's a good vampire series if you're into that sort of thing. Next up we have a show called Bedlam. Now this TV series centres around an old insane asylum that's haunted, and it got turned into an apartment building. Just sounds like a good idea. and we get to find out that a lot of the old ghostly residents have some unfinished business in the apartment building. This one was great. I really enjoyed it. It has only got 2 seasons to it, and like most British TV series, they don't make very many episodes per series, so you'll be able to binge it quite quickly. And it stars people like Theo James, Will Young, and Lacey Turner, who are all kind of household names here in the UK. But this one kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, but I really enjoyed it. So if you can find it, definitely check out Bedlam. So now we have a TV series called Hemlock Grove, which you might have seen on Netflix and maybe you've never delved into, but it's 100% worth checking out. It's so good. So this one centres around the town of Hemlock Grove, where some of the residents are starting to realise that they might be living with werewolves. And it's a great werewolf show. Some of the transformations are fantastic. It has 3 seasons to it. Unfortunately, Netflix cancelled it, but it does have a kind of finale to it, which is quite good. And it stars Bill Skarsgård of, Pennywise fame from the recent It films, and Famke Janssen from the X-Men films, and Nip Tuck. So it's got a good cast as well, and it's definitely one to check out. It was quite surprising, but I was a bit gutted that they cancelled it. Still definitely worth a watch. So next up we have a TV series called Hex. And Hex was kind of meant to be the British version of Buffy. And for one reason or another, it obviously didn't reach the heights of Buffy, but it's still well loved by the fan base. And it has really nice queer representation in it, and it sort of centres around a girl called Cassie, who is moving into a boarding school, and she starts to find out that she has special powers, and she also has a best friend who's a ghost who is a lesbian. And this series was great. It had such a nice tone to it and some really cool characters. It also starred a very young Michael Fassbender, which was quite good. And an important side note as well is that the intro music is number 1 Crushed by Garbage, and as most people know, Garbage are my favourite band. So definitely check this one out. It's so much fun. So now we have a TV series called Hellstrom, which is probably the most recent series on this list. And this one is a Marvel series, technically an MCU series. It's kind of set in the same universe. And this one follows a brother and sister who are the kids of a very famous evil serial killer. But they've both got these sort of weird abilities, and they go out trying to find various sort of evil crimes to solve, basically. The brother and sister have great chemistry, so it's worth watching it for them alone. I will say that the special effects in this are incredible as well, as with most Marvel stuff, and it does look like an amazing show. The way that it's shot and the cinematography is beautiful. However, I've only recently started watching this series, and while I was doing my notes for this one, I realised that they've already cancelled it. How rude. So we only have 1 season of it, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch it. Definitely check it out. It's on Disney Plus here in the UK, and I believe it's on Hulu everywhere else. Hellstrom, such a good show. So next up we have Kingdom Hospital. Now this series is based on an old Danish miniseries by Lars von Trier, and it was actually created for TV by Stephen King, so obviously it's set in Maine, but this one centres around an old hospital that is built on the site where another hospital had burnt down. So they figure out lots of history about the old site and what's been happening there, and loads of wackiness goes on. This one does have a bit of a strange tone to it, but I kind of like that, and I really enjoyed this series. I was gutted when they cancelled it, but obviously it's still out there for everyone to watch, and if you're a horror fan, you will definitely enjoy this one. Next up we have Being Human. So this one is about a ghost a vampire and a werewolf all living in a house together, which sounds like the beginning of a joke, but it's not. It's quite a dark series. It does have some sort of dark comedy elements to it as well, but it has a great mythology, and it lasted for 5 series, so it's kind of the longest running series on this list. And it also has an American remake of it. I haven't seen that, so I can't really comment on the quality of that one, but some American remakes don't tend to be as good as the original, unfortunately. But that one lasted for 4 seasons as well. So once you finish this one, obviously you can check out the American one as well. I do want to watch it at some point, I just haven't found it anywhere. And this one, I will say, has some really great storylines to it and some amazing characters. So this series is set in the city of Bristol in the UK, which is where I live. And fun fact, I used to actually live near the house that they lived in the first 2 seasons. But I didn't actually know that until I was moving away from that area and I moved to the other side of the city. But yeah, it's a nice little love letter to Bristol, just like Skins is. So yeah, I'd definitely say check this one out. And you've got a lot of episodes to watch, so why not binge it all? Next up, we have a series called Carnival. And I absolutely love this series, and I was gutted when it got cancelled. They only made 2 seasons of it. It had a massive budget, so it cost them a lot of money at the time, and I think it was way ahead of its time as well. I think if it was made now, it would do really well and probably last for like 7 or 8 seasons, but unfortunately it was made when it was, and we didn't get a lot out of it. However, it's an incredible experience to watch. So this centers around sort of 2 beings. One who is a boy who is able to heal people, and he joins a traveling carnival, like a freak show, and has an incredible cast of characters in it, and every one of them really deserves their own episode or their own spin-off because they're all amazing. And the other man in this series has the power to destroy or cause pain to people, and he is a pastor. He's like a priest, and they're destined to meet and have a sort of great battle at some point. And this is all centered around the sort of the Great Depression in the 1830s in America. It's definitely one to look out for. As I say, there's only 2 seasons of it, but it's just got such an incredible vibe to it, and it's got sort of amazing cinematography, and it's just one that you really want to recommend to everyone. I do know that there are articles out there from the show creators that actually specify as to where the show was going to go and how it was going to end. So if you want to find out that kind of information, you can look it up as well. But yeah, just look out for Carnival. It's just ridiculously good. So before my final recommendation, I just want to say, obviously, if you liked this video or enjoyed this video or any of the others that I've made, make sure to leave a like and obviously subscribe. That helps the channel out, and it also helps you see more of the stuff that I've got coming up. And obviously, if you've seen any of these TV series, or if you go out and watch them, come back and let me know in the comments. And I have to say that the people that have been interacting with me in the comments have given me some amazing suggestions of things to watch, especially found footage movies. So I will be doing another found footage movie list soon, including some of the recommendations that I've had from people on YouTube. And I also have a sort of hidden gems sci-fi movies video in the works, and a couple of other nice bits and bobs to upload as well. So keep an eye out on the channel. So my final recommendation is a series that I'm currently rewatching. I watched it when it was on TV and I missed it so much that I bought the box set, and it is Penny Dreadful. So good. If you're a horror fan and you get to the end of the 2nd episode and you're not hooked, there's probably something wrong with you. This one ran for 3 seasons and also has a spin-off called City of Angels, but I've heard bad things about it, so I'm going to check it out at some point. but I can't really recommend that at the minute. But the original first 3 seasons are incredible, and this one centers around all your sort of classic Universal monsters, so like, you know, Dracula and vampires, witches, Frankenstein, Dorian Gray, all of the great things that you know, you want in a horror series, but all of them have a really great twist to them. They're all done in a very different kind of way, and I have to say that the cast in this as well is just what draws me into it. Evergreen's performance in this is mesmerizing, and it kind of got me obsessed with her acting to the point where I could probably watch Evergreen recite a takeaway menu. It's also got Josh Hartnett in it and Timothy Dalton. It's got a great supporting cast as well, including Billy Piper, who has a bit of a questionable accent in the first season. If you're a horror fan, I cannot recommend this enough. It's beautiful, it's gothic, it's dark, and it can be quite gory at times, but it's just a really nice story, and it is all wrapped up as well. So they wrote it as 3 seasons and they ended it at 3 seasons, so if you get the box set, you have the complete story in a sense. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Definitely check out Penny Dreadful. It's ridiculously good. So that's it. That's 10 horror TV series that you might have missed or overlooked. And let me know in the comments if you do check any of these out, but also let me know if there are any TV series that I didn't mention that you think I should be watching. So as you've probably seen in this video, a lot of these series didn't last very long, but like a lot of things in life, we're not always entitled to closure, and we can always take something away from the experience. So still check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.